Viewers, quickly cutting across to some fresh breaking news. Indian markets staged a strong recovery after the steep declines on the Black Monday, with Sensex and Nifty opening 1.6% higher. Asian markets also in general bounced back, with Japan's Nikkei showing a remarkable rise of over 6%. Meanwhile, overnight, the US markets trimmed their losses and managed to recover after opening in the red, indicating a positive shift in global investor sentiment. This collective rebound across key markets has fueled optimism and improved the market confidence. This comes shortly after yesterday's market mayhem sent everyone into a meltdown, including the investors and also the consumers who were nervous for what was supposed to come after the markets rushed headfirst into the global stock market bloodbath. And now today, Indian markets staged a very strong recovery after the steep declines from yesterday. We're also being joined by Pranav, our business editor, to get us more updates. Pranav, speak to us about the recovery that's happening not just in Indian markets but also Asian markets as a whole.
So actually the Indian as well as Asian markets are just tracing what the US markets witnessed yesterday. Both, the Dow Jones Industrial Average as well as the S&P 500 and along with that the Nasdaq opened lower but then bounced back during the session and ended higher, though they opened lower and ended higher. So that's being taken as a positive clue, after which Asian markets have bounced back. As you rightly said, the Japanese market is up 6%, Australian markets are up, Hong Kong is up, China, despite all the tariff war that is going on, it's still up by a few points. So that's being considered as a positive view by the Indian markets, though it's too early to say because it's just the first reaction and we still have an entire trading session to go the whole day today.
Right, Pranav. In fact, I also want to ask, do you think that yesterday's reactions or the nervousness that yesterday's markets had pulled from investors and consumers alike was sort of an overreaction? And also, what do you think the investor sentiment is like today, now that the markets have started showing a recovery?
To answer your first question, to say that it was a knee-jerk reaction, it wasn't, because it was probably the first trading session, the first big trading session that opened after last week's decisions played out. So the entire global market witnessed a fall, and Indian markets fell in line with that. Though there was a silver lining to that entire fall, and that is that Indian markets fell only 3.5%, while the rest of the markets were 10% and 9% and 8%. So that's a relief there. That's point number one. Point number two, when you're talking about a change in stance, it's too early to say that, because market is a complex ecosystem, and the kind of positions that unveil during the day are not exactly related to sentiments. Some people have bought certain shares, some people have certain positions which need to be covered when markets react so sharply the way they reacted yesterday. Right. So it's too early to say whether this is a change in sentiment today. We need to see how it unfolds over the next few days.
Right, Pranav. In fact, I also want to understand what will be the impact like on small cap and mid cap industries now. Yesterday, they lodged a massive loss. It was about 7 to 8% when both included together.
Yes, as you rightly said, small caps, in fact, have been the worst hit. Not just yesterday, they have been trading under pressure for the past about 5 months. In fact, investors and analysts have been advising to stay away from small caps, because they, by virtue of being there, having a small market cap, are vulnerable to market forces. So analysts as well as investors are advising, small-time traders and retail investors, one, to stay away from the markets, given that the volatility is massive. But two, if at all they have to get invested, focus on large caps is what is being advised. So small caps is a no-no from analysts and investors as of now.
Right, Pranav. Thanks very much for joining us and getting us those insights. Viewers, that was the editor for Business Republic. Thanks, Pranav, for joining us on the broadcast.